The add-ons down here.
Ooh, there's cheese gyoza, cheese dumpling. Ooh, this is a crispy fried chicken with, I don't know how to read that.
Oh, what is this?
It says basil ramen, but in Japanese it's called genovese, which is a pasta basil sauce.
Should we get two?
Let's do it.
Basil ramen or Genovese ramen, perhaps named after the Genovese crime family of New York, is a little touch of Italy, bringing ramen to the next level as long as you aren't a snitch. They stir-fry a mixture of veggies, including cabbage,
we go back to
soy,
paradise.
onions, carrots, and
Again, safest approach to reconnaissance is to pose as one of Mr. Rubio's smugglers. I have been monitoring air traffic from the island, and I have coordinates of the most recent plane to land in Los Santos. I, for one, am keen to see how things have changed since our last trip.
Boiled egg, and finally minced hot chilies.
This is gorgeous. It's like a work of art. This red part looks like saffron, but it's not saffron. Because this is what makes it so special. Wow. It's not a crazy, intense herbal flavor. It's not a punch to the mouth. It's a kiss on the lips.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
I was with ramen expert Frank nearly 1 year ago. He had like ramen terminology.
You know, it's a very dramatic pull-up with the noodles.
You've got noodle terminology. He calls it a pull-up. He's like, I'll do it deep and then an aggressive stomach.
You have got the plane?
Yeah.
Good. Now, fly south. Then keep flying south until you hear the sound of angry blonde Colombian on Trafalgar Beach.
I like that they're very
Coordinates are with you now. Disguises should be in back of plane. You can change on the way. And leave your weapons. Mr. Rubio will not trust smugglers. The guards will shoot you on sight if you are armed.
So this is just under $10. I'm very curious to see at the next location how they're going to elevate something from $9 to $10 all the way up to $100.
Maybe like a couple extra meat slices.
Maybe it'll be $1.
That's pretty exotic.
Yeah.
You can't even get those in Japan.
Modern day ramen is versatile. For $8 to $10, you can get squid ink,
Black as night, darker than my heart. This is the lunch of my dream.
this Chinese-inspired mega thick broth.
It's hard to get out of the broth. It's almost like fighting against you to pull it back.
Yeah.
They even have soupless ramen.
I thought that was illegal. I didn't think
Now it's legal.
But how would you elevate Japanese ramen to its highest potential if price was not an issue? The answer lies here.
You know what? Right now we're at Noodle Stand Tokyo. It is both ethical and ramen.
Yes?
Do you know why it's...
I had no idea. I actually just noticed that.
Noodle Stand Tokyo just opened 2 years ago, and they already have a loyal following. They use only ingredients sourced from Japan, even writing the origin of each ingredient on the menu.
I checked out the menu already. Their most expensive ramen is only around $11. Today they're making $100 ramen. It's not going to be 10 times the size. They're doing something to it to make it more expensive. What do you hope is on there?
I am hoping for truffles because I love truffles, but they're known to be very expensive.
Oh, I'm hoping for diamonds.
Diamonds! That'd be even better.
Possible?
That'd be even
Like
better.
earrings?
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hand.
Meet the man behind the noodles.
Strong like a tree.
Are you ready for this? A demonstration of my respect for you making this $100 ramen.
Ramen master Takeshi Nishimaki. He spent 20 years in the noodle game, and today he's pushing past the limits of typical ramen.
What is your approach for this luxurious $100 ramen?
メインは和牛を使った、はい。
The main idea is to use locally sourced ingredients and also Japanese wagyu.
That seems like the most logical step. Just upgrade the protein a lot. Is there any ingredient that you would never really find in your typical $10 ramen?
使います。フォアグラ。あとトリュフ。
Today we decided to throw in a little bit of foie gras.
Oh,
Keep it fancy.
yes.
And also truffles.
You're right.
I called it.
If this is a big hit, people come in here wanting the $100 ramen. Will you add it to your menu?
Yes, definitely.
Start on
Wagyu steak is seared in oil and garlic, then sprinkled with salt and pepper. He adds a blend of sake and soy sauce, and finally cuts the steak into irresistibly succulent slices. Next up, sukiyaki, thin beef slices, dipped in a mixture of soy sauce, sugar, and seaweed. Now it's time to bring it all together. Our giant bowl, that we're definitely sharing because I can't afford to, is filled with a soy
Paren,
sauce
esperen
base,
ahí.
oyster sauce, and a
Why
dreamy,
can't you assholes
milky
be on
broth.
time for once, eh? Arms out, let's go.
The noodles are delicately placed in the center, stacked with slices of beautiful rare Wagyu.
Okay,
Now
Right
the
over there.
sukiyaki, white
will
asparagus,
bring it soon.
naganegi, half a
Go
seasoned
on.
egg, a douse of truffle oil on the beef, bonito or dried fish flakes, and finally,
As soon
As a
as you
pure
go beyond the
symbol of
airstrip,
over-the-top
you must be
opulence,
careful. If
pure
guards get a
gold
good look
plate.
at you while you are in the restricted area, they will know something is not right. Safest thing is to stay out of sight.
Here we are. I've never been so excited to eat something as I am right now.
Neither have I. I think this is a collection of all the finest ingredients.
The best bonito flakes, the best gold.
This is a very special brand name. Apparently one of the better.
It's a good egg. We've got this beautiful wagyu on each side, two different cuts. You can get just a piece of this because it's one, it's got two trumpets, it's water, and that's enough. That was outstanding.
Whoa!
That's one of the best bites of my life. Truffle can usually be too much or too little, and that was perfect. The wagyu just melts in your mouth, very tender. It's got some broth soaked into it, so it's rich, savory.
That was amazing. That was like heaven.
This here is the sirloin. That is remarkably tender.
It actually melts in your mouth. It's very rich and very fatty.
Take a look at this. This might be the best bite of ramen that
They
exists.
may have moved the signal
Got
box this
wagyu,
time.
A5,
Could be up on
some
the
bonito,
tower.
some
Could be
noodles,
ground
some
floor.
broth.
Oh, that is so good. The combination of everything just explodes in your mouth.
That broth has like a deep savoriness to it.
You can get that umami in there.
Yeah, altogether it's incredibly rich. Here they have something I've never seen combined with ramen, kind of a foie gras paste.
Yeah?
They said we could actually just kind of mix it into the broth and then even put a little extra on a bite, so I want to try that. It changes everything. It's just like a more fatty, rich note at the end of the eating cycle. You guys buying this?
I think the eating cycle is a little bit later than.
We came to the nice folks here at Noodle Stand and we asked them, hey, can you make an outstanding, top-of-the-line, luxurious, opulent ramen? And honestly, they delivered hardcore. It looks amazing, it tastes even better, and I couldn't be more satisfied.
I agree. Like, this is meant for one person. We shared it, but I would
I
say
have connection.
Good
You can use it
bang
with the app on your
for
phone.
my mouth,
Now,
that's for sure.
what do we have here?
The day
Ship the
has
vault.
ended. We are full
Basement
of noodles.
level.
Now, the question I have for you is which one give you the most bang for your buck?
Without a doubt, it would be the $100 ramen.
And you would be fine paying $100 for that.
Ideally, someone else would pay for it for me.
For me, if I had to do it again, I would
Thereabouts.
happily
They are
pay
in the safe.
$100 to have that
Untraceable. This is
insane
why he keeps
Wagyu
them.
experience
And
on
why
my
they
ramen.
are so
Now, am I going to
convenient
eat
to
that like
steal.
every day,
Ah,
every
cash.
weekend? No. But
Marking
every once
location
in a
now.
while, bring out a friend, share it, $50 each. I'd do that.
Whether you only have a couple bucks or a $100 bill burning a hole in your pocket, you cannot go wrong with ramen in Japan. If you're traveling to Japan, let me recommend booking an experience through buyfood.com. Now offering over 250 experiences throughout the country. You can find food tours, cooking classes, tastings, and more. And each booking made, buyfood.com contributes funds to children in need through their Food for Happiness project. From researching and shooting to editing and mastering. Our 10-person best ever food review show team works hard to roll out the highest quality travel food entertainment twice a week. If you like what we do here, please consider supporting our Patreon. Patreon allows fans of the show to contribute a monthly sum and receive a load of extras like early video releases, private Q&As, and beyond.
To learn more about our Patreon, check out the link in the description box down below. And if you can't give or don't even feel like it, that's okay too. We're just happy you're here. Shizzy, thank you so much for joining me today. I had a great time having all that ramen. For you guys, that is it. I hope you had a good time. Eat some ramen wherever you are. I will see you next time. Peace.
In today's modern protein paradise, some body parts get overlooked.
What? Why is there liquid in here?
This series is an homage to the offcuts. Body parts that in the West might get thrown in the trash.
I'm so sorry. I feel a little sick.
We discovered tasty heads.
Wow, this is nuts. This is like an anatomy class.
And now it's all
Okay,
about taste.
we have a...
This isn't even something Americans could be freaked out by because they wouldn't even know where to start. Nobody's sitting at home making memes about animal tail foods. Until today.
Today we're on a hero's mission, showing that these underrated animal parts have the power to rise above.
They got texture, there's collagen, it's an inexpensive cut, and nowadays there's more chefs using those odd end pieces in their cuisine.
4 foods, 4 chefs, cooking up dishes that are not just tolerable,
It's basically vegan.
but crave-worthy
It's just love on a dish.
and delicious.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you pumped?
I'm pumped, I'm pumped, I'm pumped. Let's go, let's go.
Joining me today, California native and esteemed taco chef Calvin.
Xin Chao M. How you doing? Oh, you are tall. How tall are you?
1.50 m.
Almost as tall as you.
Oh.
With a little bit of help.
Meet the very sweet and the vertically challenged Miss Hull, owner of this here food stall, a street-side eatery that sells over 175 pounds of pork per day.
Your height has absolutely nothing to do with what we're here for today. Today is all about animal tails, and you are serving some animal tails here. The pigtail. What is this dish?
She simmers the tail for 2 hours, and that makes it tender and juicy. Then she adds it with a copious amount of special noodles, which gives you today's magic dish.
Pigtail noodles. It starts with blanched thick rice noodles.
Oh, is it the one in the picture?
No, it's not. Wait, huh?
Top those with pigtails chopped into medallions.
Out of all the delicious and yummy pig parts that we all love, why is
Mr. Robbins Island has extensive sonar network. If we want the submarine to get close, we will need a deflector of some kind.
But the tail
This kind of thing is military tech, but luckily, this is America. So of course there is private company with contract. Merryweather, you have heard of them.
the color of
They
the
have
tail
new
itself is a
submarine,
little
the latest
disconcerting.
one
I
from
mean, it looks like a cadaver,
I know
right?
location of test, so we can start there. They must have what we need. I cannot see anything on sonar. Look, patrol boat and helicopter. You dive beneath them, you will not have far to go.
Yes, you can.
A lot of flavor comes from the rice counter.
That would make it a little bit sweet. You see it floating around all over the place. Try these new noodles. We're working our way up to the tail.
Yes, they are. The noodle has a good noodle. The broth is great. The noodle is great.
How could the tail not be great? Now, usually people are just going to eat these thin slices, but we have big fat tails.
I mean, yours has a nice arc to it. Very desirable.
This one is chipper, like a puppy that's happy to see you. Let's go for it.
Okay, here we go.
That's pretty good.
Changed my whole mindset. 2 hours to cook this, and it got to this silky, savory.
Did you make it inside?
Fat.
I cannot tell from sonar. This thing is impressive.
It's like a Rolo.
It will be small enough to carry. A box of wires and switches and so on.
Witness to some recipes neither of us have ever seen before. But here, pigtail, great start. Feeling very humble.
I'm pumped.
I'm very pumped.
Oh, look at that. Pumped.
Our second tail dish brings us all the way to Spain.
Gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Well, at least to a Spanish restaurant serving traditional Spanish foods.
Sangria. It tastes like Spain.
It tastes like apples and oranges.
Yeah, from Spain.
Cooking for us today, Chef Tornado.
Thank you for being here today.
He acquired his cooking skills in Spain, and the shorter version
I see you on sonar now. You must have found it. Very good. Time to make your exit, I think.
This episode today is focusing just on animal tails. So far, we've had pigtail. Here, we're gonna have oxtail. But can you even think of any other animal tails that could be eaten, period?
I would say horsetail.
Horsetail. I think you can make a violin bow out of a horsetail. I don't know if you can make food out of it.
I do not think on anything like that.
It's a tough category because there's not a lot of edible tails out there. But one of the most famous edible tail dishes out there is the oxtail soup. Did you grow up with oxtail soup?
It is a very common dish.
Welcome back to the surface, Captain. Just in time for the incoming helicopters.
Any
Get the
city with a
deflector back to me.
plata, so you can find them there very easy and they're
You went to Canada. Yes. So I'm curious, do you notice a big difference between the types of meat people are willing to eat in Spain versus North America?
some types that illegal people in North America that they don't even know what is that. They're evolving. I'm not saying they're not.
Because us not evolved. Just remember, McDonald's started in America.
Yeah. Okay.
most of the world outside the USA and Canada does eat nose to tail, so I can't figure out why this hasn't caught on as a mainstream trend in my own country.
Food distribution in America is a very big box business. It takes a lot of time for these companies to pull out those pieces. So they much rather just get the price cut, throw the rest into the mincer, and say, hey, I can get more product per hour than to old school butchery, where you go in and you get different cuts from different muscle parts.
I think he solved the mystery. Damn, that made me hungry.
Good start.
I'll taste some oxtail stew.
Oxtail stew. Start by dicing onions, carrots, and celery. Then the tail. Cut it at the joints. Those get
Welcome
seared
back,
on high
Captain.
heat to
That
lock
was
in
a
the
Nestor
flavor.
class in
Then
clandestine
add in the
reconnaissance.
diced
And
veggies.
you have it there, too,
Then
no?
the tail.
Now do business.
Add tomato sauce, rosemary, red wine, and water. Cook that for 4 hours until the oxtail reaches a fall off the bone level of softness.
It looks beautiful. It smells phenomenal.
I can understand someone hearing oxtail soup for the first time being confused and possibly put off, but when you just see it, it just looks fantastic.
It looks like braised morsels of goodness.
We just had the pork, and of course that was cooked for a couple hours, but it wasn't nearly as tender as this. I mean, this is like coming off the bone, revealing the vertebrae.
Oh, look at that.
Cheers.
Good. I just went to heaven right now. Really good. The sauce is glistening. I mean, do you see how sheen it is?
It looks fantastic. The tail is tough, it's untenable, and so it needs time and it needs love. And after 4 hours of braising, all this connective tissue has just kind of melted down into the meat, and it creates like this wonderful sticky texture. It's one of the most satisfying beef products I've had in a long time. When people think eating animal tails, this is usually the first thing that comes to mind. There's a reason for that. It's legendary, it's delicious. You just have to be a little patient and know how to prepare it properly.
Yeah, food takes time. And love takes time. What is love?
So, the codes to the safe. Without these, the whole operation is pointless. Now, the only man apart from Mr. Rubio who has the codes is head of security. A tough cookie, as you Americans say. But lucky for us, this cookie has serious party habit. Today is our chance. He is in Los Santos, making mess in Mr. Rubio's penthouse at Diamond Casino. If we are clever and sneaky, perhaps we do this without alerting anyone.
Specializes in all things chicken, roasted and prepared the Filipino way.
How do you say chicken ass?
chicken with. Well, that's
You
what
know,
we're here for
Captain, I
today.
look back at my career and ask myself why. The robberies conducted, the assassinations carried out, the insurrection supported or brushed, the late nights, the early mornings, the fatigue, the diet of red caviar and navy wine, the endless vitamin B supplements. But of course, you ask yourself the same question, yes?
My whole life.
And you give the same answer.
Should we be eating more
Money!
So, I'm excited to try your ass.
I will send you a photograph of the head of security. Just a moment.
Your secret is simply orange, marinade, and grilled for only a couple of minutes. More secret marinade and serve.
And Okay, here we are. So here it's been grilled, put his own signature sauce on top.
What do you think is in here?
I think there's gonna be a bone.
He said it's boneless.
Well, he said just eat the whole thing.
All right.
What she said?
She said, enjoy your meal.
Oh, that's nice. Not even her food. I'm gonna take a bite very cautiously. I'm afraid there's something hard in there, but let's see. Cheers.
You are a member of this casino, Capitan? Well, the members-only elevator to penthouse floor makes the first part easy, huh?
The ancient art of rich people trying to be
Can I eat
fast.
that?
No.
Just kidding.
It is so fatty.
Yeah, very rich. Foie gras is similar in that richness, so when you eat foie gras, it just melts in your mouth. This melts in your mouth in a different way.
In a more aggressive, hostile, might I say violent way. There is some bone in there, but it's soft enough you can like chew and kind of crack it up and get through it. It's not a big deal. I've had this chicken butt before in Cebu. The land from which he hails. It was much bigger and not cooked down as much as this. So I don't know how long he's grilled it for, but it's been long enough to kind of make it soft. You know, you can just eat the whole thing.
Chickens have one butt. This took a family of chickens.
That's tough to think about, huh? It's like 20 chickens right here. We lost 20 butts today.
You're behind me.
Finally, it's time to eat one of the biggest tails you'll find anywhere. For that, we've come here.
Excellent.
A crocodile
The
farm
job so
that
quiet,
has
the
over
element of surprise
5,000
is
of
still
these
yours.
meat-eating reptiles.
Right now we're at the crocodile farm. We're about to enter the crocodile cage, and he's gonna help protect me. Luckily, he has a big, is this a sword? Oh, it's just a stick. It's a piece of wood. Crocodiles hate wood.
You got the photograph I sent you, yes?
Crocodiles in the Philippines,
Oh my god. No, 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 no.
in Cuba,
Oh, no!
and even
Oh,
this
that's it.
tube-shaped crocodile in Florida.
¡Cayó uno de los dos!
Look
¡Tenemos
slow
un
and docile,
caído!
but they can be incredibly quick.
¡No le queda mucho!
Sprinting your way, he's freaking huge, and taking a bite out of your thigh before you know it.
¡Tumbaron a
Biting
uno!
down with the force of a T-Rex.
Open it in the nose.
It's one of the most dangerous predators in the world.
I was right behind you.
All right, clear them all? All right. Next time, can I get a piece of wood too?
¡Hasta aquí llegó!
What's up, my man?
Meet my protector. His name is Mr. Tot, the Crocodile Slayer. Oh, never mind. He said we can't call him that.
So, we cleared all the crocodiles, and now we can be here, have a civil conversation with a little bit of danger. Is this a species that's native?
Oh my god.
Make a swift exit, Capitan.
Crocodile.
Distance between yourself and casino.
How many people die a month here?
Không có người nào mà bị chết với sự tấn công của cá sấu.
Yes. How long has there been a crocodile farm here?
Ở đây mở từ
2003. He started with just 2. Now they have 5,000.
That's a lot.
và nó đang áp dụng
Alligators are sold for not only their skin, but the Vietnamese now use the alligator bones to cure bone ailments.
You can hold on to that. I will get it when you are next back in the submarine.
Start by removing the tail bone. The trick is to avoid all the fat so you don't get that gamey crocodile taste. If you're out of crocodile powder, season with chicken powder and throw it on the grill. Before this croc feeds us, it's only fair that we also feed the crocs.
Here, I've got a chicken head on a stick. They said don't put your hands out because it will bite off your hands. I don't know if I like this idea that much.
Do it for YouTube.
I have the manliest scream.
After 30 minutes, it gets coated with their homemade marinade.
Fight it! Dude, they're so fast.
I know.
And back to the grill it goes.
I don't know how you win this game, mainly by keeping all your limbs.
Oh my god, that bite is vicious.
Finally, it's scissored down to manageable pieces. And that's it. It's ready to eat.
Sorry guys, no more chicken heads. We're gonna eat some crocodile tail if you... I don't know, it's awkward. Should we go eat? We should. Let's go, let's go.
It's enormous. I have a few concerns on what this is gonna taste like.
I'm not that concerned because the chef looked super confident. He used a Subway mayonnaise knife to fillet this. They also eat the skin, but I think we should eat the meat first and then work our way up to that.
When you look at a piece of pork, you can't pull the skin of the pork the way you can do with the crocodile.
It's like string cheese, the way you can peel the meat back. You know, the crocodile, it's in this murky, dark, dirty water, and the meat is so pure and white.
It's extreme.
I need to stop saying that word. chicken's super lean. It's quite moist. There's certainly some porky notes in there. I think it's something between pork and a fish that tastes like chicken.
I think that's what crocodiles are.
We're on the same page. Here we have the very tip of the tail we built up to this moment. All right, crocodile skin. Let's go for it. It doesn't have a lot of taste to it.
No, it is thick. It's very chewy.
Super chewy, hard to get through.
Almost like a gummy worm.
A fishy gummy bear.
Yes.
Overall, very pleased. Today was a challenging day because animal tails are not that common for eating. But considering we found these different examples throughout the day, it feels like today I was living a fairy tale.
Limitations push innovation.
When you see it uncooked, it's hard to imagine you could ever eat it.
It's the same in the food world.
Do you think Americans are missing out? Should we be eating more butts?
Certain cuts of meat, like these tails, are often cheaper. But
Why would you throw away great
all that's required then is to creatively and carefully produce a recipe that brings out the best these offcuts have to offer.
This has to be the most tender piece of meat I've had in a long time.
And the tail is certainly no exception. From researching and shooting to editing and mastering, our 10-person best ever food review show team works hard to roll out the highest quality travel food entertainment twice a week. If you like what we do here, please consider supporting our Patreon. Patreon allows fans of the show to contribute a monthly sum and receive a load of extras like early video releases, private Q&As, and beyond.
To learn more about our Patreon, check out the link in the description box down below. And if you can't give or don't even feel like it, that's okay too. We're just happy you're here. Guys, that is it for today. A huge thank you to Calvin over here. You can follow Calvin right here on his Instagram page. Guys, that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Peace. I'm gonna push you in the water. Don't even joke though.
She's my Tommy-dee-dee-doo, Tommy-dee-dee-dee, Tommy-dee-dee-dee. She's my Tommy-dee-dee-doo, she's my
You're using the very smelly, pungent, loud shrimp paste in your turkey bag.
Yes.
Can any food work for fine dining?
Fine dining. It takes place in expensive restaurants, serving premium food to those
You know one of the great benefits of private sector military? Always fresh supply of cutting-edge, unregistered firearms. Group called Merryweather are running a training exercise with new weapons somewhere. I do not know where. We started their base. See if there is someone we can follow.
In this exclusive series, we're demystifying high-end cuisine
It's always been a dream of mine to eat a truffle like an apple. He's like, it's not gonna be how you think it's gonna be.
and following high-priced ingredients back to their source.
Around 2,000 ducks that we have here.
Wow, it's really ducking loud
Corridor
here.
is busy tonight, but that looks like Merryweather chopper, yes?
Trailer Park
Follow
in
it.
central Minnesota.
You know, Capitan, in my youth, I would use personal weapons on operations such as this. Let me tell you, my late 20s were a turbulent time for this reason. I learned my lesson. Nothing personal, nothing with receipts, nothing with history. Everything low, everything clean. You know, I almost feel sorry for these Merryweather people. Even in Russia, we have saying, will you go to market or will you just steal it from Merryweather?
to a place called Monkey Gallery, where they do all this different High-end food here in Saigon, Vietnam. I'm a little worried.
Why?
Well, I'm new to having money. I don't know how to act operate. I wasn't raised right. I wasn't raised that much at all, to be honest. What about you?
I'm a very typical Vietnamese. When I eat, usually I put my feet up. It's embarrassing, but it's so comfortable. And then when you have my dining experience, usually like, oh, what am I doing here?
But maybe everyone's thinking how you're thinking. Maybe everyone in there is insecure. That's what I just assumed to make myself feel better. Ah, look at all these insecure people.
They got sent
Trained in France, where he learned foundational culinary skills in a five-star hotel kitchen. Now he's making his own path, returning to Vietnam
That's a
and
bingo.
creating
And
Saigon's
what is this I
envious
see?
tasting menu
Avenger.
experience.
That will be a troop carrier. Very likely
He's got
weapons
more
are in there.
freedom, and he can take more risks, offering a unique menu based largely on local ingredients,
Hay rất là mua nọng heo đây, vì chất lượng của nọng heo rất là ngon.
some of which you never expect to find on a fine dining menu,
Đây là phần ngon nhất của cái má heo.
like pork jowl
Cái lượng nạc và mỡ nó phải đan xen với nhau.
and pungent fermented shrimp. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, we are in the lớn market.
Right now we're standing next to some of the earliest local ingredients in Vietnam. A lot of aromas. Right? Later today, we're actually going to see you use this ingredient in your special menu. It is called some...
Cervantes is good.
Oh.
Approved.
Get that hole.
Trying to get a nice
Wow, it's really good.
That's the savory something.
Umami.
Right. Pure umami. It's super different from what we had earlier today. Though.
Yeah, it's actually
With fine dining, I assume all
Okay,
these
Captain.
ingredients need to be
Let's see
really
what they
elegant.
have for us inside the Avenger, yes?
Raw, caviar.
That must be where the
does any
weapons are
food
being
work
stored.
for fine dining?
Theo ý kiến của anh á, thì cái
The stage is being set for you by the waiter.
The faster this goes, the better. We are
Fine
looking to
dining is
store
said to have
just to
begun
seal
in
enough
France
weapons for
hundreds
one.
of years ago. Traditionally, this premium dining experience
So,
was
good
quite
news,
formal.
we have the
Dress
weapons.
codes were enforced,
Bad
and
news,
white
you
linens were the
appear to
standard.
be flying.
think about
And even more bad news, when this thing lands, there will be small army to greet you. I suggest a more direct route to the ground.
The cooks, they try to play with different kind of ingredients that just show like themselves a little more.
These days, that rule book has been tossed out the window, and the words fine dining mean something different altogether.
me fine dining now, high level food, good service.
Perfect. Now bring the weapons back.
Today's chef learned from outdoors, adopting universal ingredients and cooking techniques from
Don't
around
give
the
him
globe.
the
When you are going to
opportunity.
any country in the world, you have to choose the best produce you can find, and then you can raise them up to a fine dining.
Creativity trumps tradition, as chefs look for new ways to challenge the palates of their diners.
Cross-cultural, cross-cuisine in a plate. If it's good, then we can serve it.
This is no longer the food of the ruling class. This is a classroom with no rules, attended by anyone who loves food and who can still afford it too.
Part of fine dining is tasting menu. So, what is a tasting menu?
Đó là một cái menu rất là dài.
Usually a tasting menu includes 9 to 10 courses. The purpose of this is that the customer, they really want to experience something new and try the best of the restaurant.
The menu here is always in fluctuation, depending on the availability of ingredients and the chef's creative inspiration. Right now, he's assembling 2 dishes inspired by Vietnamese street food.
While we're in the kitchen, we're gonna try one of your menu items. Is your arm burning off? Are you okay? Medium rare? If it gets to medium, let me know.
First up, beef intestine. Small intestine seasoned with fermented miso paste mixture, dipped grilled. Then it's stuffed with rosemary, topped up with miso honde foam and pepper.
Now, before we jump into it, should we eat first with our eyes, and then our nose, and then our mouth?
Do you listen to it?
And then listen. My God, that's an intestine?
Yeah.
It's so smoky and creamy. It has to be the most delicious intestine I've ever had in my life.
Next, he'll somehow take one of the world's most expensive-smelling ingredients and level it up, marrying pork jowl with fermented shrimp paste. He prepares the meat, seasons it with sesame oil, pepper, and fish sauce, and grills it bit overcharged.
So he said he got inspiration from street food in Vietnam because he said it's very much rare when you go to a tasting menu and a fine dining experience that you're gonna taste something that's very strong, a lot of umami like this.
Finally, he played small. A leaf piled with herbs, the pork chop, and the fermented shrimp. On the side, chili paste and fermented shrimp paste.
How do I eat this?
It's like tacos. You use your hand to roll salad, then you dip in the sauce.
Fantastic. Should we try it out?
Yay, let's go!
Cheers.
Oh my god.
Wow.
It's like umami bomb. You can feel a lot of flavor in this roll.
It is like a symphony of music to my taste buds. Oh, the shrimp paste with the pork is so good. It's really delicious. There's fresh herbs, kind of giving a little bit of aromatics.
Yeah, we do have a lot of like wrap and roll stuff, and then there's like an upgraded version of it.
Yeah, it's so powerful. The heavy pork kind of greasy and cuts well with this super umami or savory shrimp paste.
Yeah.
That is an experience. The menu tonight has how many courses?
The biggest menu is around 15 courses.
That's wild, huh?
That's great.
Here, tasting menus can range from 6 courses to 15. We're settling for none.
So for that whole experience, that's still only around $78. I know $78 is not a small amount for going out, but for some of the top quality food
The
you can find
fingerprint
anywhere,
scanner in Mr. Rubio's office is very latest
it's
design.
a pretty good deal.
I think the same.
Would you pay that for?
While the chef is preparing,
Morse Mutual.
I have
We're here to
someone
help.
I need to see.
I can do that.
Pleasure to meet you.
Miss Chang, founder and principal of John Robert Powers Vietnam. This is a training facility where they're teaching proper Western etiquette, something I'm surely lacking.
I'm Western. I don't know how much Western etiquette I know. So far, how am I doing?
I think you look great. Very confident and friendly.
Hey, thank you. The reason I'm here is I'm doing this whole series on fine dining, and I kind of feel like it's a place I don't really.
Being confident with your etiquette is the key to being self-confident.
Is it more important to look good or to present myself good?
That's for the fine dining. Everything is important.
From your appearance,
I think you should choose for you some more color.
When you're honest, sometimes I feel it's hard.
I'm sorry.
to your posture,
Just relax. Yeah.
even the way you walk.
The way you walk, that's all different everything.
When you know the proper way to act, you can show proper respect for yourself and others.
When you enter to the restaurant with your friend, she is a lady who has
The archives are relocated every few weeks. If we want to find out where they are, we need to get into the computer system in this warehouse. It will be highly secure. Perhaps you can avoid cameras or destroy them, or make it easy and kill the power. There has to be a circuit box not too far.
You want to project confidence, appear comfortable, and make those around you feel comfortable as well.
The cameras must have seen you. Now the men with the guns will be waiting for you inside. It will be guarded in there. You avoid the cameras, you keep element of surprise, yes? Judging from the gunshots, they have seen you. It will be safer not to leave witnesses. Find the computer terminal. We will hack it and locate the archives. This man's security is in serious need of updates.
There are a
This
lot
would
of
never
rules
happen at Russian
for just
government
about every
profile.
part of the meal,
When you ring, also don't make noise.
Don't make noise. Okay, I'm sorry.
but no rules.
Good job. We have the location of the archive.
With all
Now
the
let's
skills I
go.
learned today, I'm gonna bring that to this meal. It's gonna be better than ever.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Are you hungry?
Yes, very much.
Okay, now we're ready.
Course 1, the palate opener. An oyster is brought back to its natural habitat, topped in a velvety oyster cream, apple, zest of lime, and covered with apple foam.
Beautiful presentation. You're giving us wow, that sour sweet apple kind of takes away all that seafoody flavor that
Course 2, the harmonies of Asia. Hong Kong
You are
sumac
close now.
combined with
There will be
Vietnamese
CCTV here as well.
made of local herbs and tricky
Sam,
Oh, this is very new to me.
the snail goes surprisingly well with the pork.
Super creative.
Course 3, inspired from Japan. A scallop soaked in ponzu dressing and miso oil, adorned with jewels of flavor, including sea grapes.
So the problem with doing a video about this kind of food is when someone looks at this, there's no way they can relate to it. Even for me, it's confusing. I'm right here. Wow.
Do you expect a scallop to have that texture?
No.
Because usually it's kind of like chewy, right? This one is kind of like nutty.
Course 4, Japanese mushrooms.
For the next course, we have the smoky stracciatella.
How do you pronounce the cheese?
Stracciatella, that is the thing inside the burrata.
Oh.
We pair with the green
Now,
shiitake.
do not get distracted in there. The fail-safe tool will be the size of a credit card. Probably it will have an antenna.
Oh, that's
Truffle smell.
That's truffle.
Do you hear the device? Get it out of there, quickly.
Like you feel full, but it's not heavy. I don't know how to explain that, but it's really cool like that.
It's super cool like that.
Stop!
No. You know, there's someone I could have you talk to. She teaches etiquette.
Who?
Course number 6.
5.
This is a palate cleanser, meant to reset the taste buds, preparing them for what's next.
Palate is cleansed.
Veal street bread is sauteed with butter, garlic, and thyme.
The biggest question of this video is, why is it when people go to certain fine dining restaurants, they feel like they pay a lot of money, and then they just get a little speck of food?
Plated with curry, torched melted butter, green beans, and chimone lime leaves. Delicious.
So he said like when you taste food like that, it makes you crave it even more.
That's spicy.
Yes.
It is like fatty and springy. Like, it's hard to bite, and then the sauce around it. Ooh, it's a bit spicy.
Exactly.
By now we've had smoky, savory, sweet, sour, spicy. There's like 3 courses left, right? Now you just have to bring out all the guns.
Spending your dinner indulging in a tasting menu is for the adventurous. You never know what's coming, and sometimes you don't even know what's right in front of you. It can be pleasant, like this.
We were just told this is our first main course. I'm sorry. Well, I'm ready for a nap right now.
Torched toothfish paired with cassava puree, spinach, and topped with butter foam.
Oh, I'm kind of running out of descriptive words.
Or dairy, like this dry-aged duck breast. Sauteed, bathed in tamarind sauce, and served with Japanese radish and soybean paste.
Ooh, how does it work? The skin is
In our line of work, it pays to look ahead, Captain, to think of how we cover our tracks. And the most important way will be to destroy all vehicles, weapons, and equipment once we are finished. No loose ends. Mr. Rubio takes
Your
hold.
own notion of what's delicious.
We've done it. 9 courses. That's incredible. Overall, 10 by 10, I loved it. There was a good mix of some recognizable food and some where it's like, oh, I know what that is, but they put a little twist on it. And then some foods where it's like, what have you done to that scallop? And you mutilated a scallop and turned it into something I've never seen before.
Since it's like a high-end restaurant, right? Like I would expect something more, but it's not intimidating at all. It's very cozy and I mean, I can chill with friends here.
The mainstream eating scene in the USA places value on food volume. Here, the focus is on premium ingredients, artistry, technique, and creativity. But why do people like that? And even more, why are they so darn expensive?
There's a lot of items that make sense as far as being on a fine dining menu. But with oysters, I don't completely understand.
Today we're going deep into the world of oysters. Visiting a remote floating ocean farm.
This is the typical oyster everybody knows. When you go to a restaurant,
I want to see how locals cook up this tasty treat.
it looks like it's fried.
Compared to one of the most luxurious fine dining restaurants in town.
What a fancy.
It all starts right here.
Quick. The fine dining series officially starts right
The drainage style then, Captain. A clever approach, but with one problem. Stainless steel grate on the entrance. We will need cutting torch to get through this underwater. Many construction sites have them. Should be easy to find. Only one complication will be the armed guards. Apparently, such equipment is often stolen in this town.
All these bamboo lattices being supported just by big bricks of styrofoam. I think that's what makes it work.
I didn't even pay attention. I'm trying to figure out how I can walk on those.
And then there's tons of strings that are holding these bricks
So he said mainly because of the
Golden rule of construction sites. If you wear hard hat, everyone assumes you are supposed to be there. The torch will not be lying in the open. It will be in storage somewhere, a toolbox or something. Or perhaps this is time to practice staying out of sight of armed guards.
Oh god, it is breakable.
Oh my god.
Each structure earns him roughly $45,000. Multiply that by 10 farms, and you've got one man very happy with his investment.
How do you plant an oyster? How do you grow an oyster?
At first, the oysters are small like his nail. Okay.
What? Are you sure they're small?
They attach everything into this rope, and I asked him like, okay, do you do
Did you have it
anything in
yet?
that 1 year?
Bring it back to me and I will store it for final operation.
Little creatures in the ocean.
Now, I've heard oysters are kind of like the filters of the ocean, keeping it clean. So in that case, I can still give you eat.
I see a slurp right there.
Mr. Lin grows two types of oysters. This is known as a sea acorn, a domestically grown, bite-sized creature.
The other one you need to buy the shell. This one it just attached by itself.
So you just put string in the water and these shells go on?
Oh yeah, it's exactly like that. Yeah.
They take 6 months to raise and they're less profitable, but they're low risk and in high demand among locals.
I like it. Briny, oceany taste. Sounds so overwhelming.
Then there's this guy. The Pacific
Ours
oyster.
is a strange business, Kevin. We work so hard to get weapons, vehicles, equipment, and then afterwards we destroy it all. The only way to be safe, not sorry, yes. We'll leave behind a single piece of the jigsaw. Mr. Rubio will finish it.
Oh. It tastes like just drinking a cup of straight up ocean water. It is very salty. I like that it's meaty, but it's also kind of gooey. It's pretty iffy. Bigger is not always better.
Okay, I shouldn't laugh. I don't understand that.
While most of these oysters are being exported, some are sold locally in Vietnam. Here, these ladies are doing some oyster shucking, like a lot of shucking, making their way through this massive pile.
Ma'am, did you make this in prison? How'd you get this knife? What is going on there? This is what I did to the last guy who asked too many questions. Once you have your shiv in hand, that's no, what? That's only in Japan.
These shells will be tied back together on the same ocean-faring string and thrown back in the water, where a new generation of these guys will grow.
How much do you think this would sell for at the market?
5,000 dong.
5,000.
Yeah.
Does it blow your mind that in Saigon there are some fine dining restaurants that sell these guys for like $2 a piece?
She said very shocked. Yeah. She's very happy that she can sell this for 5,000 here. Since this is the source of it, she understands in Saigon because people have to pay for logistic money.
Now.
Cái điện thoại của ai vậy ta?
Oh, I thought we were doing a flashback sequence.
Before we jump into some of the world's fanciest oysters, we're getting a humble, heart-filled local lunch.
Ma'am, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah,
She started cooking at 9 and spent 20 years in the kitchen so far.
You have all types of different
You know, I am almost jealous of you out there in the field once again. But then I think of the drainage pipe you're about to swim through, and I am not so jealous. The entrance is right up ahead.
Very different oyster dishes, sourced straight from the
GPS trace acquired. I have your location. Once you are inside the compound, I will be able to see you on CCTV.
nice catch.
Dish 1, deep-fried sea acorn.
It's a sea acorn, but like it's the bigger one.
Oh, there's a big and a small variety.
Yeah.
They've been basking in the ocean for 6 months. Now they're soaking up some dill and flour.
Oh, hi, bye.
Okay, next up, maintenance.
I don't know if I've had fried oysters. But pretty good. It has the seafood essence without all the shit on it. What do you think?
It's really rich.
Yeah, it's rich and high in nutrition. I love nutrition.
This is like chicken nugget.
Chicken nuggets from the sea. Just to be sure about the taste.
Miranda, yeah.
You have the farm right next door. It's super fresh. It's super affordable for you guys. Is this still looked at as some special food, or are you just kind of used to it?
She said like the taste tastes very good to them, but I think it's
Perfect.
because it's so
As we say in Navy, do you want the element of surprise? Choose least hygienic option. Now, enjoy your little swim, yes?
I want you to get back to work, but can we try one more dish with these small acorn oysters? Editor, this is where you put in the voiceover. It's
made with this, this, and this. Oh yeah. And then she comes back, and then we're back at the scene. Oh, what is this one?
This is a sea corn with a tomato sauce, topped up with fresh dill. This is her childhood dish.
Well, let's take a bite of your childhood. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's
Well,
yummy.
judging from the lack of terrified screams, I will assume you made it through the uncharted tunnel and into the den of strung-out militiamen. Things are going according to plan, huh? Now, let's see what he has for us in the vault this time.
Our last two dishes in Wang Min feature these giant oysters. Raw oysters.
Be careful in this area. Mr. Rubio's personal bodyguards, they know their soldiers, and they will know you are not one of them, no matter what uniform you are wearing.
Scallions, fried shallots, and peanuts.
5-star, 5 dining.
It's got a great view. I got a little bit of lime juice on here, some of this really thick soy sauce. Let's try it out. Just shovel the whole thing back, I think. Oh, wow. The leaf is what makes it a salad. That, I don't know. It's just a big glob of open water. What about for you over there on your side of the table?
Just a lot of salt water coming from the oyster.
A tidal wave of ocean water going down my throat. Uninvited.
No, you invited it.
No, I didn't want it. Okay, so we tried the raw version. This has been grilled. Okay.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah. It's savory, nice crunchy peanuts, hit a scallion oil in there. God dang it. It's one of those foods where there's so many ways to prepare it, and I definitely don't like all the ways. I like about half of them.
My favorite so far.
And I think that is a recipe we're not going to find in the fine dining establishment.
Oysters are perceived as high-end luxury food, but as you've seen, ordinary coastal folks enjoy them too.
About 35 cents. Good deal.
Yeah.
Super cheap.
Really good deal.
So, what gives? Are some oysters really better than others? Or are some patrons paying a whole lot extra for nothing? Twin and I are going undercover in our best threads to find out more. Here at The Log.
Chef. Chef, where?
Do not give up on a locked door. Why not ask the guard nicely for the key?
Describe the type of food you serve here.
Specifies in experience, serve a lot of luxury food, including seafood, oysters.
What makes oysters a fine dining food?
First, you would look at
Always
the
worth looking in the
food.
safe.
It doesn't have a lot of stuff on it. Then it would be raised far away in the ocean, because when you have oyster like next to the shore, it's not very good because it's too close and the water is not clean.
So, you're at fingerprint scanner. The tool we took from head of cybersecurity will show you fragments from previous scans. You just need to cycle through them to
The
match the
chef
target
rosters
print.
the oysters with a
And keep an
combination
eye
of
out for
chicken
people
soy
trying to
sauce,
kill you.
kumquat juice, and sugar. Add shrimp soaked in olive oil lemon sauce and top it with caviar. Fancy AF.
Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Mmm.
Wow.
That's delicious.
Very good.
Some nice caviar on there, bringing some salt in. And then the oyster itself is just a little bit briny, but so meaty.
Oh, I think it's so good.
I gotta say, oysters is confusing. I eat some oysters and I'm like, weird, how can anyone eat this? And then I eat that, and I think it's fantastic. What do? Tell him my problem.
Yeah.
You made it! Again!
For him, there's no problem. He's like, I like his, so we're good.
Oyster 2, a grilled French oyster with truffle sauce.
Eat it together with the salmon roll.
But what is it sitting on?
Decoration.
It's a decorative cake.
Anh nói cái ăn được.
Oh no.
You can eat it, but it will taste salty.
I'm learning a lot about fine dining. You guys make cakes.
I hate to rush you, but if I don't, the heavily armed guards will enter the combination.
Making them reduce in size, combining them to soak up some new flavors. Add white beans, then squeeze on a truffle-infused roux.
Did you get the bond yet? I'm seeing a lot of guard activity back the way you came.
Cheers.
Along with the meat.
From what I can tell, they have sealed the drainage pipe. You will need another way out.
I'm just gonna eat some of this cake.
Oh my god, I can't watch you.
That's right, this is the worst cake I've ever had.
Our main course contains a cornucopia of oyster creations, including the smaller French oysters and these giant imported Japanese oysters, all raw with various sauces and flavors.
Which countries are most famous for their oysters? Which countries have the most?
The best from France.
Remember, there is always time for some last-minute shopping before takeoff.
In Vietnam, he would like it to be push the oyster farm a little further to deeper water.
Putting in the water.
Whoa!
What about the fish? Wow, you know, for your food to be literally smoking. I didn't realize that. They should almost have like a Halloween theme. These are like spooky oysters. Now we have the French oysters grown in Vietnam, but these big ones are actually from Japan. You know how they got here?
If you are considering using the cliff as an escape route, I have done some calculations and you would have a better chance of survival running directly at the bullets.
The first thing you should do is just try this Japanese.
Itadakimasu.
Cheers. This much for the first date. I don't understand oysters. I either love them or hate them. I'm gonna wash it down with some white wine. You wanna pretend? I know you don't drink, so just pretend to put it to your lips.
Cheers.
So this has caviar, a very small bird laid an egg in here. I like that.
I like this one.
That's good. Bone and caviar on it. Fucking cheesy. I like the caviar, but that's still
It's still a lot.
it's big.
When it comes to meat, whether we're talking salmon sashimi or fresh beef burger patties, we can all agree that freshness is key, right?
It's like the best beef you can get.
Wrong. New generations of daring chefs are pushing the limits of poultry and their diners' palates.
I'd always heard of dry-aged beef. Can you age any kind of meat?
I mean, you can within reason.
What would be unreasonable? Because I never would have guessed duck.
Today we're going deep into the world of aged meats.
Got to keep that temperature nice and low. Otherwise, if it gets too hot, it'll start to age the meat a little bit too quickly.
Yes, you are clear of the compound. This is the final straight. Fight your way through the last guards and we get out of here.
Some of the most polarizing protein on the planet.
The sun is not where you left it. The coordinates should be on your GPS now.
It all starts with the ducks.
Guys, today we are no longer ducking around.
Sorry.
Don't laugh. It's a serious video. Today we have come southward to Vietnam's Mekong Delta and look how they grow some of the best ducks out there. Joining me today, have you had duck before? I probably didn't have duck until I was...
Well, he sounds irritated again.
Duck. We're having aged duck. Have you heard of this?
Not really.
There's a whole movement or trend behind aged meats. So they've taken duck, they'll put it in kind of a refrigerator, and it'll just hang out there for 2 weeks.
Whoa, sounds like a lot of work.
Well, I don't know if it's a lot of work. It seems like you just kind of hang it there. Today, we're going to be exploring this whole entire process. We're going to follow
Judging
these
from
ducks
their
from
comms, it
being
sounds
born
like Mr.
to...
Rubio is reaching for his helicopter again.
Are you open to tasting a duck that's been sitting in a refrigerator for 3 weeks?
I mean, I've eaten bugs, so.
So you're kind of open to anything.
I've gotten word from a duck cooking expert that these are some of the best quality ducks you'll find anywhere.
Right now, we're amongst this giant paddling of ducks.
They're so cute.
They're very cute. How many ducks would you say you have in here?
Around 2,000 ducks.
2,000? That's wild.
Mr. Hung has been in the duck rearing business for 7 years. Now he's raising about 4,000 of these little crackers at any given time.
What percent is being sold to restaurants? What percent is being sold as pets?
So he said mostly that these are sold for just meat. Oh, look at you. You're sad.
I feel nothing.
Typically, going from a duckling to a ready-to-sell adult takes about 8 to 10 weeks.
How old are they about right now?
2 weeks only.
Okay, 14 days. That's pretty big.
But this duck breed, originating in France, can become fully grown around 6 to 7 weeks. They require less feed and produce higher quality protein.
So there are many factors that would decide if the duck's gonna be good, but he said the DNA it would take up to 70 to 80%.
Just like Japan's Kobe beef, good DNA is just half the battle. How they're raised matters too, ensuring they go from fluffy twins to full-blown
Looks like
adults.
Mr. Rubio is heading back
This
toward
is the
land.
ducks in the adult stage. How many days old are they here?
It's around 40 days.
Barns are open, clean, and relatively quiet.
What makes a duck a good quality duck?
Then they're fed the right stuff. Yummy industrial poultry feed.
He said like if he touched the breast, then he can feel that it's pretty thick. Yeah. Are you checking yourself?
I'm seeing if I would make a good duck. I think so. Maybe he can help me out later. We'll do that off camera.
After 6 to 7 weeks, the ducks reach a weight of about 7.5 pounds, and they're ready to ship off.
How much are you selling the duck for here?
100,000 Vietnam dong.
For a whole duck?
Yes.
The duck we're gonna be trying later today, I think it's like half the... Like a lot to you?
Eating duck is common in Vietnam.
He said it's really